Alright, so this is gonna be Halo Legendary tutorial. So let's just start out. I'm on MCC right now, just to make that clear. First part is just walking, basically. You can do some slide jumps here and there, but just follow this movement, basically. Let's do a slide jump here, pretty big one, off this, and you can get a pretty nice one. Make sure to not jump or melee here, so you get this checkpoint. There. And then I like to kill this guy with a nade. If you try to AR him, it usually works, but sometimes he just doesn't die, so it's better to just use a nade or rocket, whatever you prefer. I value rockets more than nades personally. And then the amount of ammo on the hammer is random as per usual as well. So we're gonna do 2 slide jumps and hammer boosts. One off this thing, and then one, I think it's off here. So you just I just hold crouch and do 2 hammer boosts, and it's pretty important to get these well, because the faster you are through here, the less you'll have to worry about enemies. So then you can do that. So I throw a nade right there, and then I jump on top and do a hammer boost, and I get hit by the nade and the hammer boost at the same time. I get all the way up here. You can do that, there's easier ways to do that, that's the fastest, and that's what I'd recommend doing. You can also do it like this, just jump up here and then throw the nade. It's riskier to do that, because you're spending more time down there, so there's more time for the flood to shoot you and stuff. So it's actually riskier doing that, so I don't really recommend it. The other thing you can do is, if you want to go like really easy, I think you can go over here. Yeah, you can go over here and then either do another hammer jump up here, or you can actually just do a regular jump. I suppose that's the easiest. And then, yeah, just walk up here or do hammer boost. Normally I would do hammer boosts up that ramp, but it doesn't really matter. Once you're up here, I start to juggle this hammer over here. Grab this auto turret, and I place it right here. Then I make my way over here, and I meant to throw plasma there, but it doesn't really matter. And I stay around here, basically using up all my rocket ammo. Try not to die, but basically just wait around here. Make sure you keep an eye on both sides, because the wave's coming from this side, but there's gonna be stuff spawning from the others. There's gonna be remnants from the first wave. Then once you're out of ammo, you should try to use up your ammo pretty quickly. You should be around here. If you had like a quick movement and stuff at the start, you would drop down here at around the 2-minute mark on the in-game timer. And yeah. Basically, for a new player, maybe like 2:10, you want to be around here, or the low 2-minute mark at least. You want to be down here, used up all your rocket ammo. I then do a rocket jump up here from that thing. If you're not comfortable with that, you can save a nade and just do a nade jump off this snow pile. And then you do this jump which I showed earlier. I go in line with this thing right here, kind of. So I walk along this thing, but then I actually go pretty far left at the end to make it, and that makes it a lot easier. So it's a bit hard to tell, but that's what I do. You could probably do a rocket boost there as well. I'm actually gonna revert, because I imagine the fight has gone really weirdly when I spend so much time on there explaining stuff, and I'll be able to show this in full speed as well, which is good.
Flood dispersal pods. Control rooms at the top of that
So don't
tower.
do any more than
Go.
5 hammer boosts, because that's just not necessary. Oh, I also forgot earlier while I was explaining. You actually want to shoot Johnson. Once he stops, fire a rocket at his at the snow below him, basically. Don't try to hit him directly. Just try to hit like the snow next to him. And what that does is it skips some dialogue. As long as Johnson dies at some point during the fight, his dialogue at the end of the fight is gonna get skipped. But that's where I like to do it. You also want to make sure he dies. Make sure you see his dead body, or if you have score on, you can see like the negative score once he dies. So like I was saying before I died, like look and make sure if Johnson died. If you miss, it's not a huge deal, because you can shoot him while you're on your way up top. So if you didn't kill him, then you can try to shoot him while you're walking up here. So once you got your rockets refilled, you can make your way back up. Usually there's a bunch of crawler flood around there, and you're gonna be BRing the second wave from up here, basically as they spawn. Now I was kind of slow doing stuff, so that's the second wave done. But normally you would stay up there a bit longer, doing stuff with the BR. Once you hear Gravemine's dialogue, you want to jump down. For the last wave. So there's 3 waves in total. Jesus Christ, that was close. And I prefer just taking out the final wave from down here. What you also can do, which can be fast, is drop down here for the final wave, and they'll basically all be spawning here, and you can BR them from here. But that can be a bit risky because it kind of relies on getting lucky with the spider flood actually deloading for you. So on every wave there's a boss flood, kind of, which has either a fuel rod. It's either an elite with a fuel rod, or it's a marine flood with rockets, and they'll also have either a bubble or a regen as equipment that they drop. If you get either of those and you don't use it during the fight, you want to swap that out here so you can have that for later, and then pick up your hammer. If you have like rocket ammo, it can be useful to put it down here as well, because that'll be there on your way back. And then any extra hammer ammo you can just use for hammer boosts. Make sure you have 2 swings left though for the spark fights.
Do I take life or
So I have 2 swings now, so I'm not gonna do anymore.
who is foe?
It's trying to rebuild itself on this ring.
And it's important you have the auto turret here as well. So as soon as you get in here, we're gonna line up for a skip here. Well, the way I line this up is I line up the left side of this thing with the right side of this blue thing in the background. And then just look at it. And once you see the kill the monitor, activate halo pop up, you start walking forward, and you start moving forward. And then once you hear him start his dialogue, you jump. So line it up. Kill the monitor, activate halo, shows up. Jump. Equipment jump off the sentinel. And do a hammer boost to the right. The reason we have to do that is if you go like too far left, then you're gonna get pushed by him. So we need to like do it around him. The way I do the equipment jump for this is different on OG, by the way. It's like the equipment, this equipment jump in particular off these auto turrets, I think is they're a bit easier on OG actually. The way I do this one, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but I look pretty far down, like like this far down, basically. Not straight down, but like around there. And then once I hit the apex of my jump and start falling down, once I start going downwards, I throw it. And then I just mash jump after that. I don't try to time jump or anything, I just start like spamming jump. And that works every time for me.
I take no pleasure in doing what must be done.
No crouching or anything. And then just there's an invisible floor here which extends pretty far. Not all the way, but yeah, you get it. You get the idea. So it's also important that we have an extra hammer swing left over after this, so we can trade the hammer with Johnson, because if you have no ammo, you're not going to be able to trade with him. So trade for laser. And then I line up in this corner. Make sure you trade your hammer, by the way. So line up in this corner like this, and then once I see Spark start moving, I just react to him, start movement. You can also use Johnson dialogue to start this, to time this, but Spark's invincible right now, so we have to wait until it stops being invincible. I'm gonna time a laser shot. So once he starts moving, starts charging, and look right here. And you should hit him right as he stops being invincible. Then the hammer is gonna be refilled with ammo. I got a really good ammo count, but it's random how much you get as normal. And then we're gonna line it up against the wall, against the door here. The weapons in this game, the way they drop when you switch them, depends on where you're looking. So when you do this, it's important how far away from the door you are and where you're looking. So you want to stand like this far from the door, a little closer, and look like straight forward. That actually might not work, but you want to lean the hammer against the wall, like against the door like that, in that general area, and that stays loaded after the cutscene, so you should be able to pick it up through the door like that. If you do it right. So once you do that, just pick up the hammer. You can shoot to lure these popcorn flood around the corner, so they don't bother you here. Then I try to focus one of these elite flood, the AR, and if he doesn't die, I just punch him, and he usually dies. And then switch to the plasma rifle instantly and try to get dual plasma rifles from these guys. And then just keep walking. If you have rockets, I'm not gonna pick up the rockets because I want to show what would happen usually. But yeah, you could use the rockets if you drop them. You want to get in this covey because as you saw, the sentinels aggroed me there, and they melt you really fast. So get in this cubby and it de-aggroes them onto the flood instead, so you can just walk past while the flood are attacking the sentinels. But I got pretty good RNG here, and most of the flood and sentinels just kill each other. But basically, just kill stuff with plasma rifles. One tip I can give on the elite flood is you want to focus their gun arm, because if you shoot off their gun arm, then you don't really need to kill them, because they just chase you and do nothing if you shoot that off. I like to save my bubble if I can. Sometimes I use it on the cliff side there, but if I can't save it, I like to save it for this room, because this room can be quite annoying. Sometimes there'll be a carrier flood here, and he'll blow you up as you walk past, and if you're really low on health, he can kill you. But there's actually, you can actually prevent that killing you, because you can prevent them blowing up. So a little counterintuitive, if you shoot them while they're down like that, you can stagger them and stop them from blowing up.
Don't let this ring be the end
And that
of
can
us,
be
Chief.
pretty useful there. And then here you can just use any extra hammer ammo you got. Boosts. Though make sure to turn around and not die to these guys.
There, Johnson's warthog. Come on,
You can
Spartan,
also,
go,
I didn't
go,
mention
go.
it, but you can also use the hammer on the elite flood if you want to. Like the 3 elite flood right at the start. As soon as you get out of the cutscene, you can use the hammer there on them if you want. There's not too much to talk about for the driving section, so I'm mostly gonna stay quiet, I think. So just follow the path I take. The panels that explode are the same every time, but the direction they fly in is random. So keep that in mind. For this jump, you want to slow down a little bit before, in order to not flip. Just don't slow down too much, or you won't make it. That jump also skips a trigger for spawning in the enemies, so now there's no enemies, which is pretty handy. Take a different path on Legendary here than on Easy, because different panels explode on Heroic and Legendary compared to Easy and Normal. Try to avoid the carrier flood here is the most important thing. And slow down before you take those turns more than I did there. Because if you get shot like that, then it can screw you up a little bit, so you need to slow down a lot. But avoiding the carrier flood is the most important thing there. If you're unlucky like that, these sentinels will flip you. You want to drive really far left here to avoid these sentinels. Coming up is third roundabout skip. So in this section you need to conserve a lot of speed, essentially. So be careful with that. But just take the line I do and you should be fine. If you're at this point and you have very little speed and you know you're not gonna make it, what you can do is you can go to the right of this pillar, and that'll allow you to get a run up so you can get enough speed basically every time. And hopefully you should make it, like I did. But yeah. Better angle and you make it. There's not much to say.
50%, Chief.
I'm not used to doing it from the pillar, so I wasn't sure which angle to take. If you hit that, then there would be no enemies in this section either, but it's not a big deal. In fact, it might be faster to have enemies actually, because the sentinels can boost you. But obviously the benefit of doing the skip outweighs that. So here we have Wilzor's special. So if it's good. You want to drive to the on the right part of this ramp, and it'll be a bit faster, less air time, and you can keep some speed on the landing sometimes as well. So that panel at that corner is the dangerous one if you're used to running on easy. That one kills you if you forget about it.
90%. Firing sequence initiated. Done it, Chief. Jump. Floor it. Right into the hangar.
That's pretty much it for the tutorial. Make sure to skip this cutscene fast, by the way, in full game, because it does count towards timing. All cutscenes do, including that one. After that one, though, it doesn't matter. Like, the epilogue doesn't matter. It's just that cutscene is included in the time. But yeah, that was it for the tutorial. Not too much to talk about on that level, but hopefully it was helpful anyway.